what's up, everybody? Welcome to Easy Money, a sports betting show, Wednesday, December 28th, 2022. Uh, I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by my dad, Tony Gonzalez. How you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Did pretty good yesterday. My picks were 8-3 yesterday.
I suck. I was 4-5.
I was 3-0 in college football, or 2-0 in college football, and 2-0 in college basketball. And then I was 4-3 in the NBA.
I was 2-1 in NBA, 1-2 in hockey, and 1-2 in college basketball.
Because the Grizzlies smoked, or the Suns smoked the Grizzlies last night. But not too bad. It could have been worse.
Yeah, the 76ers got
Grizzlies last night.
pretty good by the Wizards, too.
Yep. Not too bad. It could have been worse. And I think they play each other again tonight. If I remember right. No, there's somebody that's a rematch tonight. All right, let me get these pulled up. All right. First game is the Phoenix Suns against the Washington Wizards. The Suns is a 2.5 point favorite, minus 136 on the money line. The Wizards are plus 116 home dogs. Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. I didn't hear it in the broadcast, but for some reason we're getting a little bit of feed in our ears. I ain't been able to. That's what I was trying to figure out a minute ago. I ain't been able to. Oh, okay. The Suns are 20-15 on the season, 6-10 on the road. This is a second game of a back-to-back for the Suns. They got a big win last night against the Grizzlies. The Wizards are 14-21, 9-7 at home. This is the second game of a back-to-back for the Wizards as well. They're on a 2-game win streak, and they beat Phoenix in Phoenix last week. The Wizards did, so it was a good game last week. So I like the Wizards in this game at home. Suns, Devin Booker's not playing for the Suns. He's going to be out at least 4 weeks. So with the injuries and Wizards being at home, both these teams coming on second game back to back. I like the Wizards at home. Next game is the Orlando Magic at the Detroit Pistons. The Magic are 1 point favorites, minus 118 on the money line. The Pistons are even money at home. Over-unders at 229.5. Orlando's 13-22 on the season, 4-12 on the road. This is the second game of back-to-back for Orlando as well. The Pistons are 8-28, 4-13 at home. They're on a 6-game losing streak. They have played Orlando once this season back in October, and they beat Orlando by 4. Now, Orlando has some guys banged up. They're on the second game of a back-to-back. The Pistons on a couple days rest and coming off. So I kind of like the Pistons here at the even money at home. Then you have the Los Angeles Lakers at the Miami Heat. The Heat are 8-point favorites at home, minus 335 on the money line. Lakers are plus 270 on the money line. Over-unders at 227.5. Lakers are dealing with injuries. Anthony Davis is out indefinite with that stress fracture in his foot. They were already struggling before the injuries hit them. But they're 14-20 on the season, 6-12 on the road, 1-4 over the last 5 games. And this is the second game of a back-to-back as well for the Lakers. The Heat are 17-17, 3-2 over the last 5 games, and they're 10-8 at home. I like the Heat in this game, but 8 points to me is just too many points, especially at this point of the season.
You think the Heat's underperforming a little bit?
Yeah, I think they're underperforming a little bit, and they've had a few injury issues as well. But
it seems like a lot of injuries so far this year.
Yeah, there has been
early on. I mean, there's always injuries, I know, but this seems like a lot this early in the year.
Let's see. Next game we have is the Brooklyn Nets at the Atlanta Hawks. The Nets are 7-point favorites on the road at minus 245 on the money line. The Hawks are plus 200 on the money line. Over under for this game is at 233.5. I like the over in this game at the 233.5. But the Nets are 22-12 on the season, 10-7 on the road. Since they fired Steve Nash, the Nets have looked like a totally different team and have been on a bit. They're like 14-8 or 18-6 or something since they got rid of Nash.
You think they're a legitimate contender?
I think if they stay healthy, they are. Kyrie, as much as I hate to say it, just because some of the stupid stuff he does, he's playing good basketball and is engaged. Ben Simmons is starting to play better, and you have Durant that's just doing what Durant does. The only thing that worries me a little bit is their defense. Do they have enough size to like handle like Boston, Boston, or maybe like the Bucks in a playoff series? That's the only thing that worries me a little bit with the Nets. But no, I do like the Nets. The Hawks are 17-17, 11-6 at home, and this is the second game of back-to-back for the Hawks. I like the Nets in this game. Nets have been playing good basketball. This was at 6.5. It's went up to -7. So I like the Nets at the -7 there. Next game is the Milwaukee Bucks at the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls are 3-point favorites, -146 on the money line. Over-unders at 231 for this game. The Bucks are 22-11 on the season, 8-8 on the road. Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday are both going to be out tonight for the Bucks. The Bucks are 2-3 over their last 5. Bulls are Bulls are 14-19 on the season, 7-8 at home, 3-2 over their last 5. Bulls are coming off a bad loss to the Houston Rockets where they just got blown out a couple days ago. But I like the Bulls in this game. The Bucks are missing too many people with Middleton out, Holiday out. That just puts so much more on Giannis. So I like the Bulls here as home dogs. I think you're getting good value. Next game, the Minnesota Timberwolves at the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans are 6.5-point favorites, -250 on the money line. Timberwolves are +205 on the money line. Over-unders at 234. The Timberwolves are 16-18 on the season, 7-10 on the road. They're on a 3-game losing streak. The Pelicans are 21-12, 14-4 at home, and are on a 3-game winning streak. Brandon Ingram will not be playing for the Pelicans tonight, but I like the Pelicans here at the -6.5. All right, next game, the Utah Jazz at the Golden State Warriors. The Jazz are 4.5-point favorites, -165 on the money line. Warriors are +156 on the money line. Over-unders at 232.5. The Jazz are 19-17 on the season, 7-12 on the road, 2-3 over their last 5 games. Warriors are 17-18, 14-2 at home, 3-2 over their last 5. I like the Warriors here on the money line at the +156. I know they're missing Steph Curry, but they still have been playing decent basketball the last few games, especially at home. They're terrible on the road, but they're a whole different team at home. So I like the Warriors here on the money line to +156. And then the last game of the night in the NBA, you have the Denver Nuggets at the Sacramento Kings. The Nuggets are 1-point favorites, -116 on the money line. The Sacramento Kings are -102. So this game's close to a pick 'em. Over-unders at 235.5. And this is the game I was talking about is a rematch from last night. Nuggets are 22-11, 10-8 on the road. The Kings are 17-15, 9-7 at home, 2-3 over their last 5. The Nuggets beat the Kings last night. 113 to 106. I like the Nuggets to win again tonight. Kind of where you're playing back to back against the same team. You don't see that very often in the NBA. Yeah, I like the Nuggets in that game. Did you have any NBA stuff?
Yeah, I got an NBA parlay. I got the Brooklyn Nets and Atlanta. I'm gonna take the over 233.5. I've got the Utah Jazz at the Golden State Warriors. I'm gonna take over the 232.5. And then I've got the Nuggets win money line at Sacramento.
Okay. My picks for the NBA tonight, I'm going to go with the Detroit Pistons money line, the Washington Wizards money line, the Nets and Hawks over 233.5. I like the Chicago Bulls against the Milwaukee Bucks, Golden State Warriors money line over the Utah Jazz, and the Denver Nuggets money line over the Sacramento Kings. So that's going to be my NBA picks for this evening. Said done pretty good yesterday. A little college football. Got some bowl games on today. Actually, Central Florida and Duke are playing right now. Duke's up 20 to 7 at halftime. Next game's at 5:30 with Kansas versus Arkansas. Arkansas is a 2.5 point favorite, minus 137 on the money line. Kansas is plus 114 on the money line. Over-unders at 69.5. Kansas is 6-6 on the season. Arkansas is 6-6 on the season. And if you look at their stats, they match up pretty good. Kansas averages scoring 34 points a game and allow 38 points a game. Arkansas averages 30 points a game and then allows 28 points a game. So Arkansas has a little bit better defense. Both the offenses are pretty good, but I think Arkansas is the better team. I think they have the better weapons on the outside. So I like Arkansas at the minus 2.5 in this game. And then you have North Carolina against number 15 Oregon. This should be a good game. Both teams have good quarterbacks. I think like we were kind of talking earlier, I think it's going to come down to if North Carolina's defense can come up with any stops against this Oregon offense. But Oregon's a 13.5 point favorite, and that is moving more and more toward Oregon because earlier it was 13. They're minus 500 on the money line. North Carolina is plus 375 on the money line as a road dog. Over-unders at 75.5, so they're expecting a bunch of points to be scored. I think there'll be a lot of points scored too because, like I said, you have Nix for Oregon. He's thrown 27 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions on the season. And then May for North Carolina has thrown 35 touchdowns and only has 7 interceptions on the season. So, I mean, these offenses can score points. I'm gonna go with the Oregon here just because of the North Carolina defense. But let me rephrase it. I think Oregon wins this game because North Carolina defense. But I think 13.5 points is too many points because I think this game could turn into a shootout. So I kind of like North Carolina at the plus 13.5. And then you have Texas Tech at Ole Miss tonight. Last college football bowl game for Wednesday. Ole Miss is a 3.5 point favorite, minus 176 on the money line. You have Texas Tech at plus 146 on the money line. Over-unders at 71.5. Texas Tech is 7-5 on the season. And again, if you look at Ole Miss is 8-4 on the season. If you look at their stats, Texas Tech scores 33 points a game, giving up about 29. Ole Miss averages 34 points a game and allows giving up about 24. So pretty even match in that way. But I like Ole Miss at the minus 3.5 in this game. I think the offense is going to be able to score some points. And I think their defense is just a little bit better than that Texas Tech defense. Did you have anything for college football?
Yeah, I got a parlay for the college football. I went quite a bit different than you. I'm taking Kansas plus the 2.5 at Arkansas. I'm going to take Oregon minus the 13.5, North Carolina, and I did have Mississippi minus 3.5 against Texas Tech.
You like Oregon at the 13.5?
I think that it could be a shootout, but I think Oregon's defense is better than North Carolina's defense, and I think they may pull away at the end.
Yeah.
But I know 13.5 is a lot of points.
See, then on college basketball tonight, there wasn't a bunch of games a whole lot of games I like, but I did come up with 3 picks. I like Tennessee at the minus 7.5 against Ole Miss, Alabama minus 1.5 against Mississippi State, and Arkansas minus 4.5 against LSU. It's going to be my college basketball picks for today.
Okay, I've got college basketball, so I got Tennessee minus the 2.5. You said
7.5. 7.5.
Yeah, I've got the 7.5 at Mississippi. I've got Kentucky minus 2.5 at Missouri, and then I've got Wichita State plus 6 at University of Central Florida.
And there's a bunch of college basketball games, but just this time of year, you have the spreads are so big because you got a lot of these bigger conference teams playing smaller schools, so the spreads are just so big. So I don't do a lot of college basketball during that time. Now, once it gets closer, you get closer like mid season toward the end of the season, you start playing. When you get in conference play, that's when our college basketball to me gets more interesting and it's easier to bet then because you know how conferences play and how they play each other. Where you don't have you never know. A lot of times these schools blow out these little schools, but then you get times where these little schools cover some of these big spreads, even if they don't win the game.
Yeah, that's true. I've got an NHL parlay for tonight. I got the Montreal Canadiens at the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'll take the Lightning moneyline win. I got the Calgary Flames at the Seattle Kraken. I'll take the Seattle Kraken moneyline win. And then I've got Vegas at the Anaheim Ducks. I'm going to take the Vegas Golden Knights moneyline win.
All right.
What do you think about Tua? They're saying he's probably not going to play Sunday, and there's no timetable for his return. That don't sound good.
I think some of that's him just because everything that's happened with him this year. They're kind of watching what they say. Maybe we overreact a little bit, but I don't know if they even. I mean, if they lose this game, they're on the verge of being out of the playoffs. So I mean, I don't even know if you play him the rest of the season. I mean, if you're going to send him out this game,
who do they have?
I would say it just depends on if he clears protocols. That's what kind of surprised me that they've already ruled him out. What if it's Wednesday, so it is getting later in the week. I understand you want to protect him, but are you going to bring him back for the last game of the season?
That's a huge game because it's the Patriots. Right.
That's it. What, Patriots this week?
First, yeah.
So who they play next? Who they play after that? Last week.
I think the Jets. Yep, Jets.
Yeah, so
at Miami.
For them to hold on and make the playoffs, I think they need him to play at least one of those games.
Because if they lose to, I forget what the playoff thing is.
Yeah,
for sure. But
and from what I'm hearing, Jalen Hurts might not play the last two games for the Eagles, which I think that's if he's hurt, I understand, but if he's healthy, I think you need to play him at least that last game because we've seen how many times have we seen teams rest players, and then the quarterback looks a little off or the timing's off. I think it's a risk. I know it's a risk playing them as well, but I think it's a big risk as well. Benching them just because sometimes you can not benching them, but sitting them because sometimes you can lose that momentum that you have going into the playoffs. I mean, as Colts fans, how many times do we see that with when we had Peyton Manning, where if we had like the number 2 seed get that bye, and then we set out some guys regular season because we had everything wrapped up, and then that first playoff game just come out flat as hell, and the timing and everything be off. So I think it's a risk if you're going to set Hurts the rest of the season. If he's healthy,
Yeah.
and but if you think there's a chance he's going to get hurt more before the playoffs, I understand that. But and like with Tua, I understand if they're not going to play him this week, but are you going to play him the last week if the playoffs are on the line? You know what I mean? Is he going to be healthy enough?
That may make a decision for Philadelphia too if they was to lose this week.
If they lose and Dallas wins, and yeah, the division could.
Well, I think the other thing is Minnesota still can get the number 1 seed, can't they?
Probably.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because I think I'm not 100% sure, but
yeah, Eagles would like to win this game to lock up the division and everything.
pull up the standings here.
You know what?
Yeah, because the Vikings are 12-3.
Yeah.
The Eagles lose. Now they have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
But if they went to the last game, if they lost their last 2 games,
yeah.
and Vikings won their next 2, which I'm not saying the Vikings are going to win the next 2.
I think the Vikings might lose this week to the Green Bay.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It just has to be the way Aaron Rodgers would make the playoffs. Play the Vikings and the Bears, or no, Vikings and Lions last 2 games, division games.
See, the Vikings got the Packers
and get into the playoffs.
They got the Vikings and the Packers, and then the Vikings and the Bears. I think both those games on the road.
Yeah.
So that's not easy games.
No, they're winnable games, but they're also games that I can see them losing as well. It's going to be interesting. All right, go ahead and I'll go ahead and recap my picks for today. Yesterday's picks were 8. My picks yesterday were 8-3. Had a good day in college football and in college basketball, and then pretty decent in the NBA as well. But my picks tonight for the NBA, I like the Detroit Pistons money line at home against Orlando. I like the Brooklyn Nets at the -7 against the Atlanta Hawks. The Chicago Bulls money line against the Bucks. The Golden State Warriors money line against the Utah Jazz, and the Denver Nuggets money line against the Sacramento Kings. And sorry, I messed up. Not Nets -7. I have the Washington Wizards money line. I have the Nets and Hawks over 233.5. Nets and Hawks over the 233.5. So my NBA picks are Detroit money line, Wizards money line, Nets and Hawks over 233.5, Bulls money line, the Warriors money line, and the Denver Nuggets money line. It's gonna be my NBA picks. Yeah, Duke's looking good right now, man. Yeah, actually what we have on television on TV right now. Then in college football and the bowl games tonight or today, I like Arkansas at the -2.5 against Kansas, North Carolina plus 13.5 against Oregon. I think Oregon probably wins the game because I think they have a little bit better defense, but I think 13.5 is too many points. And then I like Ole Miss at the -3.5 against Texas Tech. And then in college basketball tonight, I like Tennessee -7.5 against Ole Miss, Alabama -1.5 against Mississippi State, and Arkansas -4.5 against LSU. That's all my picks for tonight.
Okay, here's my parlays for tonight. I got Brooklyn Nets at Atlanta, I'll take over to 233.5. Utah Jazz at Golden State Warriors. I'll take over 232.5. I'll take the Nuggets money line win over Sacramento Kings. My college football, a little different, Chris. I want Kansas plus 2.5 at Arkansas. I'm taking Oregon -13.5 at North Carolina, and I've got Mississippi -3.5 at Texas Tech. My NHL parlay, I got the Canadians at the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm taking the Lightning money line win. The Calgary Flames at the Seattle Kraken. I'm taking the Kraken money line win. I'm taking the Vegas Golden Knights at the Anaheim Ducks. I'm taking Vegas money line win. My college basketball parlay, Tennessee -7.5 at Mississippi, Kentucky -2.5 at Missouri, and Wichita State +6 at University of Central Florida.
All right. Like I said, I had a pretty good day on the picks yesterday. We appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube page at Gonzo Sports Room and at the All Sports All Plays Network as well. Like and follow us on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room. That's where we post all the information about all the shows. Don't forget we have Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Should be a good show with the Sports Judge Jonathan Mathis. And then we'll be back tomorrow at right around 3:30 with another episode of Easy Money and Sports Betting Show. But we appreciate everybody watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon.